Hi, we are back for crawl week 3, and I'm really excited about week 3. I feel like at this point, we should be starting to get into a routine of being really positive, our outlooks being better, and we should be starting to feel a pretty significant difference in our bodies. It was around week 3 that after cutting out salt and soda and changing my water consumption, that when I had those things again, I started to notice like a heat in my gut, like my body struggling to process it, or like a weird taste in my mouth from the soda because all of a sudden it didn't taste the same anymore. Now I could physically taste all the chemicals in it. And so we should be starting to get to a point where our bodies are, one, getting used to the fact that we are slowly cutting down on its chemical and toxic intake. And two, our minds should be elevating more and more and more, which should be helping our process be easier and easier. So for our mind this week, we are staying in the power of positivity. Crawl is all about power of positivity. Our whole lives is about it, to be very honest. But we are going to spend 12 weeks really breaking down what it means to harness the power of positivity. And this week, we're going to make it a little bit challenging. We are going to find someone in our lives that it is very hard for us to find positivity and love for, and we are going to do that. So, for instance, for me, I had a family member that really just, we never saw eye to eye. We butt heads all the time. I never really truly felt close to them. And honestly, they were not really the person in my life that I wanted them to be. And for that, all I did was just take a step back and separate. And don't get me wrong, there are lots of people that we should probably completely separate and step back from, because not everybody is good for us. But at the same time, not everybody is as bad for us as we make it seem or feel. And so the hardest thing for me to do was to take that person, break them down, and start saying every day one thing that I actually liked about them. And no, you can't say I like their clothes or how they do their hair. I'm talking about them, the being and the person. So for me, it took me like almost the entire day. I couldn't even do my affirmation that morning. It took almost the entire day the first time for me to find my affirmation for them, and find that thing that I loved. And I realized it was their sense of humor. Like when I wasn't so busy dismissing them and being angry at them or defensive or looking for a reason to get aggressive with them, some of the things they said cracked me up. Like, I realized there was something about this person I liked. And so I just started thinking about that person as funny. So and so is funny and makes me laugh. And the next morning, I was able to start again with my mind work, and I found a second thing. And so I was able to say, this person is funny and very dedicated. And then by the end of the week, this person had completely changed in my life. This person went from somebody who caused me extreme anxiety and aggression to somebody that I realized I actually could like, and that who they were was who I made them. So again, remember, we make our realities with the things that we think. So if you think somebody is going to hurt you, chances are they will. If you think somebody is going to drive you crazy, they will. So again, in the power of positivity, this week, we are going to find a very specific person or thing that we have a hard time finding a space of love for, and we are going to find love for it. So, on to our body part. And this week, we are going to dive a little deep also, and we are going to cut out artificial food coloring. So almost everything we eat has either yellow, blue, or red food coloring in it. And yellow, red, and blue food coloring are extreme neurotoxins. It takes our bodies, it enters our bodies, and it overly excites all of our neurons, all of our processes, our nerve processes. And it makes it hard for us to, one, control our bodies, two, control our thought processes, and three, function at a high enough um, level. And unfortunately, it's everywhere, but you're going to start finding more and more foods are using turmeric and other carrot and blueberries and all these other natural food colorings now, annatto and everything else versus red, yellow, and blue. So this week when we're grocery shopping, and this week when we go through our cabinets to purge, we are purging anything that has the words red, yellow, and blue in the ingredient list. Go ahead and speak to your doctors. Make sure they know that you're on week 3 of crawl and that you want to purge food coloring from your diet. And go ahead and see what they say. And if they're good for it, then I would like for you to remove all the food in your pantry that has these food colorings. And I would like for you not to buy any more. If we're not setting our nervous system in a state of panic and disarray, our bodies can function at its best. That in conjunction with the drop in soda or stopping of soda and the change in the type of water we drink and our salt consumption is going to really spark a really good feel within the body. Unfortunately, it takes our bodies somewhere between 1 to 2 weeks to truly feel the benefits of not being on a neurotoxin, a food coloring anymore. Just stay with it. If you are feeling sluggish, drink lots and lots and lots of water. Remember that this is the time frame where our bodies start to realize it's okay to start purging. And so drink lots of water. This helps our bodies really get everything out of our systems. We want our urine to be super clear, like watercolored. And we want to start feeling better. And if you are feeling sluggish, take a deep breath. Remember, it is the body's healing process. There is a process to everything. And I'm sure you've all heard of ebb and flow. And what that means is that in a state of expansion or movement or growth, there is an ebb and a flow. And in order to expand, you cannot expand out without first contracting in just slightly. And then that pushes off and our expansions get greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. And ebb is just as much a part of the process as the flow is. It's why when we diet, we plateau at some point. We have expanded as far as we can, and now we feel stuck. So what do? Naturally, our bodies go, well, then I want a break. I want to go eat a few things. Maybe I'm going to take a week off. Maybe I'm going to take 3 days off. And we get off of these diets and we feel like poo. So we immediately go back into them. And what happens? We're able to expand again because we contracted a little bit. And that is the natural order of things. So anytime it feels like we've taken 1 to 2 step backs, remember that it is the ebb and flow. We cannot expand until we contract a little bit. So for our soul this week, I would like our initial first thought when we wake up to be, I am grateful for, and you can be bold and make it that person you are working on this week. So you can be like, I am grateful for my mother. I am grateful for my mother-in-law. I am grateful for my husband. I am grateful for my boss. Whoever that person is in your life or that thing in your life is that you're trying to find more love for, try to have that be your gratitude, your first thought of gratitude. And if that's a little too hard to do both at one time, then find something you're truly grateful for, because staying in a state of positivity means being positive. So if we have to, go to a place of not normally positive, which is the person we're working on this week, and it's too much, go to I am grateful for my beautiful little kitten who gives me so much joy and pleasure every day. Go to something that you are truly grateful for, because eventually you're gonna be grateful for that person we're working on anyway. So, and I wanted to, we had some questions about sodas. I will not lie and say that I have never drank in another soda. I do. But I actually have found that Mexican soda, and real Mexican soda, in Mexico, their laws on how soda can be made. And so Mexican soda is made from real cane sugar, not processed cane sugar. And you're going to find that it has only about 7 ingredients in it. That is the soda I drink, and I don't do it often because it leaves a weird film in my mouth. Like, the initial first sip is like wonderfully great, but then 3 sips in, I can't even finish the bottle. Eventually our tastes change when we start cutting things out. But if you feel the need to regress a little bit, go ahead and just drink a real soda. And the reason I say this over anything with 0 or sugar-free in it is because, again, that's a chemical. And even though it tastes like sugar, your body tries to process it like sugar, but it isn't sugar. It's a chemical, and it is inhibiting our growth in this process. So if you're just going to have it, just do it as clean as possible. Just go ahead and have the real cane sugar soda from Mexico. Just read that bottle, make sure there's nothing on it that you can't pronounce, because if so, I think Coca-Cola kind of caught on to the fact that people were trying to really only drink Mexican sodas. So now it says bottled in Mexico, but it's actually made in the US, and it still has the same ingredients as US soda. So actually watch your labels, because they do lie. I can't tell you how many times I've picked up a box and it said gluten-free, and on the back of it, it said wheat was in it. So how do you say gluten-free if it's got wheat? So read your labels. If you need to cheat, and you're having a craving, and you're like, just please help me find a way to like get my craving in place, there's always a way. And for the soda craving, go ahead and do real Mexican soda made with real cane sugar, and it has only about 7 ingredients in it. I'll actually find one and post a photo of the ingredients for you. That way you can see exactly what you're looking for versus what you're not looking for in a Coca-Cola. So good luck on week 3's crawl, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.